Matt, hope you're doing well. Took me a little bit to get through all this. I was actually doing some traveling. Me and my wife celebrated a big 10-year anniversary. So, the real boss had my time. So, all right, I wanted to jump in. There's a couple areas I wanted to share some possible insights. Overall, I think it's phenomenal. This is leaps and bounds better than that initial document that you put together. A few of these just could be the PDF export where it's pulling it across. But by and large, this is really phenomenal. So the area that I did want to pull out, which most of the investors that we work with want to see, is these market segments a little bit deeper, right? So if we take conscious consumers, right? So let's identify 30 to 45-year-old moms who are probably the most conscious consumers. Their makes up about 20, and I'm just picking out some numbers, 28 million of these conscious consumers purchase candy that fits our demographic from competitors. Right? So if you take that a step further and show essentially your investors, we already know how much they spend, we know how captive this audience is, and we know the demand that they've got. You want to position it to where your investors are like, this is a no-lose situation. And so the more that you position it with clear numbers, like as an example, our target market audience is females between the ages of 27 to 45 who have children, but they're also conscious of what they consume, right? They're conscious of red dyes. They're conscious of this. Here's the segment, right? And so, how we typically view it is you have a customer profile on the right. It's got a picture of someone, which I think maybe the old one had something like that. It's got the consumer on the right, conscious consumer. Here's, Debbie. She is 36. She's got 3 kids. Avid sweet tooth, but conscious consumer, right? She doesn't like dyes, doesn't like this, does like really great tasting candy, something that's a guilt-free, it's like a guilt-free treat, basically, and she looks for it, and she buys it regularly. It's always on her shelf, right? Then on the left side of this document, you have some metrics, and it's like how many consumers, right? Total market, TAM, we don't want to go after, right? Total available market. SAM, you also don't necessarily want to go after. That's your serviceable obtainable market. But your SOM, which is your serviceable obtainable, not totally, broad, that's what we want to do. So TAM, SAM, SOM is the breakdown for most investors. And we want to go after that really attainable market. And so what that looks like is there's 28 million of these conscious consumers who are buying products similar to ours, but there is none that really solve the solution. If we achieve, the same rate of success we've had before with this market, the upward available, revenue from this is massive. And so you want to position it like, here's where they're currently focused on purchasing. Here's the buying power of this group. Here's the total amount that we can convert. Because you really work through it a little bit down here into, no, not this one, your revenue forecasting. But your revenue forecasting is kind of aside from where their current revenue is going now. And so what you want to do is you want to kind of have that somewhere here in between the customer segments, because that then lets them go down here where they're saying revenue forecasting. They're going, you're going to get online D2C orders from that group up there you just exposed to me at this rate throughout each of the breakdowns. So that is where most of the investments we want to see is the revenue forecast right now is broad. It's based on these, and I'm making the assumption that there's a certain segment of the conscious consumers that are purchasing somewhere else. And simple numbers, like it can be the total available market is 38 million conscious consumers that fit our market. And you could do across, like these are 3 concentric circles. There's conscious consumers who are millennials, who are vegans or vegetarians. Like, is that 1 customer profile or 2? And you don't have to go through all of them, but 1 customer profile, pulling out the best numbers, 28 million total. Of the 28 million, 10 million are actively buying. Of the 10 million that are actively buying, 5 million are our key entry to market consumers that purchase this consume this within a 30, 60, 90 day rate range. And this is how and where they're buying. So something like that where it takes the metrics a little bit further. So when they get down here and they look at this, they're going, this is a no-brainer. This is a clear no-brainer. And position yourself as a solution. Consumer with demand, the current market offering, us in the middle, we solve the solution. That would do it. So I don't want to spend too much more time on this. This is already phenomenal. You likely will still pull investment from just this as is, but taking it a step further on the consumers who are buying with some metrics always solves the biggest questions you're going to get, because that's where it's going to be. They're going to say, do you know your customer? What are they currently buying? At what rate? And you can find a lot of this on just base stats sites. Let me see which was the stat site I used before. Yeah, Statistica. That was a site that I've used. I can't say that. So you could find, like, I accept all. You could find any sort of consumer information. Let me bring it up a little bit. Yeah, so here's Statistica into CPG. You can see, CPG spending rates. You can get a little bit more niche. You can see, and these are done probably in the millions, and you can understand, and this is in billions in US dollars, on CPG expenditures and how it's going up, where it's going. There's so many different stats you can pull within the food and nutrition. You can get a little bit more details. You can go into segments and begin to pull out different segments of what people are buying. So, all right, let's see. Spreads and sweeteners, would we land there? Would we land over here? In the snacks category, if we're in the snacks category, everything gets a little bit more deeper, and then you can pull out the different stats of your consumers. All right, so I'll wrap it up with that. Statistica, I can't say that, is a great resource and site, especially when we're on the entry market. It's going to let you rock and roll. I'll shoot this your way. Keep me updated, man.